Okay, this is audio only. I'm trying to wrap up topics. I really can't do any more videos. But this is so important, I felt I needed to talk about it. There's a lot of debate, and rightly so, about God's nature and omniscience, and are we really free, blah, blah, blah. It is important to figure that out. In fact, the actual truth of it is so shocking that even when you find it, you'll not believe it. It'll be too shocking. You'll have to keep going over it again and again. And this truth is not something I've seen anybody really write about. So I'm going to try and describe it, and maybe you know somebody who's written about it, and you'll put something in the comments so they can see something written by somebody other than, talked about by Brain Out. Okay? My pastor has, taught for like 53 years, and so, part of the job of any believer is you have to audit what your pastor says. You don't respect your pastor if you don't do that. And some of the things, no pastor's going to be perfect, and some of the things he's going to get wrong, some of the things he's going to get right. And a good pastor will let you know that he's, still working through certain things. And my pastor was one of those. He was constantly anal about refining what he taught. And he'd always come back to us over the 53 years and say, hi, I taught you this thing, but I was wrong here. Here's the correction. Or it wasn't good enough here. Here's the correction. And he was so anal about it, he actually redid everything that he ever taught from 1981 forward. And in 1985, he wanted to throw out everything he had taught before 1985. Okay, fortunately, the church stopped him from doing that. So that's one of the reasons I knew that Edward P.F. 123 was lying about having been at my church, because during the very years he said he was there, everything changed. And yet Ed uses the old vocabulary. Okay, so Ed didn't even know my pastor's son's voice, so the guy was lying. All right, but that's beside the point. The point I'm trying to make is that this pattern of being anal and questioning and auditing and stuff like that is something I grew up with, because I've been under my pastor for like 40 years now. So that's what I'm passing on to you, is what I'm about to say about truth is the product of constant reexamination. And I wrote about what I'm going to say in a web page, and that'll be in the video description. This has to do with what truth is. You have to know what truth is, and then all those conundra about, do we have free will, do we not have free will, what's ordained, what's predestined, all those things will be answered once you know what truth is. Okay? And this is something that will reconcile all the arguments together. Because, if you know what truth is, then you know why God ordained it to be truth. All right? Now, it becomes a sort of chicken and egg argument at the very beginning, logically. Because if God is omnipotent, he can make truth be whatever he says. And that's a very strong point that the Calvinists keep trying to make. And they're right to make that point. God could decree that a square is a circle if he wanted. He's omnipotent. He's not omnipotent if he can't do that. In other words, he can decree that what ought to be false be true. That's really important to understand. If God is omnipotent, he can make be anything he wants, right or wrong, true or false. Otherwise, omnipotence doesn't mean anything. Now, what we know from the Bible is what God decided that truth ought to be. And what he decided was that truth ought to be free. Free to be bad, free to be good, free to be itself, free to change, free to die, free to live, free to be what if. And then, and this is a classical theological definition, God unites all those perfections in himself. Quote, God unites all those perfections in himself. End quote. That's a classic theological definition for God's perfection. Okay, well, all those perfections wouldn't be perfections if truth is decreed to be free, unless God keeps on holding it together and makes good on it. You understand that? Because if truth is to be free, it's going to be competing. If truth is to be free, then there's going to be bad truths. You know, the bad truths that evil exists. God has to ordain that evil exists or it can't exist. But ordaining it doesn't make it become something that it couldn't be on its own. What he's ordaining is that it be whatever it is on its own. And he's ensuring it's, as it were, right to be whatever it is and to make itself into whatever it wants to make itself. So you are totally free, total free will, by God's decree. Okay? You are free to be whatever you want by God's decree. You have free will to choose him or reject him by God's decree. He holds your freedom together. You are totally free. That's, of course, why it's non-meritorious at birth. It's not something you get, at regeneration. The Calvinists just got the order backwards. But you are totally free, and it is non-meritorious, which is the point they were trying to make. Because God holds everything. Because God wants all truth to be whatever it is, to be free to exist. The truth that there, okay, well, should there be shit? Excuse the expression, but, that's what we call it. Should it exist? Yes or no? Yes, it should exist. Why? Because everything should be free to exist. Everything bad, everything good. And then it should be free to be whatever it is of itself. It should have its own power, its own existence, and its own results, and its own effects. Okay, well then that means that all these things are going to compete with each other, the bad versus the good, all right? And nothing's as good as God, so we're talking relative, all right? Finite good, finite bad. Because only God is infinite good, and that's why even if you were perfect, you wouldn't be good enough for God. Okay? Because you'd be finitely perfect. Okay, so God has to regulate the inner relationships between all these free things. Because God has to be the judge. He has to watch it forever. It's only fair that he regulate it since he's the author. Okay? He doesn't author evil. He authors the right of evil to exist. That's what Isaiah 45, 7 is all about. I think it's verse 7. I created the evil one. It's usually mistranslated, I created evil. Alright, Ra. Alright, it means evil one, really. It's an adjective used as substantive. In other words, he created Satan. Satan was the one who created evil, not God. But God created Satan, so God's taking responsibility for having created Satan. It was Satan's freedom to go evil or not. It's our freedom to be evil or not. God ensures our freedom to do bad. Because all truth should be free. The truth of your existence, you should exist. That means each one of us has a place in God's plan. But God's plan is the predestination part of it. What he does with what we freely do. Because, and here's where I'm going to get into the Bible verses proving all this. You got Ephesians 1, which is the most important chapter on this topic. Especially verse 23. Filling all in all. Okay? In the Greek in particular, that's important because there are two key verbs in Greek using pleroo and teleio. Teleio means to fill to a completion like a contract. And pleroo means to fill up. Okay, and those are two big keywords in the New Testament that are used. In other words, God's idea of perfection, God's idea of truth, God's idea of everything that he wants to be is that it should be free and full. Okay, free to be bad, free to be good, free to have its own effects, and also free to get something from God. Not based on deserving, based on a need, based on a desire. Okay? You're listening to me talk right now. Alright? I don't deserve that you listen to me. Okay? Is there a need? Well, maybe. Is there a desire? Well, maybe. Okay, but you can't talk about deserving. You're listening because you want to, and I'm doing this because I want to. Do you deserve that I talk for you? Well, technically no. Do I deserve to even be able to talk? Technically no. I want to. And you're listening because you want to. There's no deserving between us. Okay, I don't deserve anything from God. I don't deserve to exist. Anybody who's saying has to admit that. Okay, but I do exist. Why? Because God wanted me to. Alright, and if I want God, does that mean that I'm a good person? No. And does God have to reply to me because I want Him? No. But He wants to. Okay? So all this is about God wanting to. Again, go back to the theological definition. God uniting all perfections in Himself. He wants to. Take everything bad and everything good. He wants it to be free to exist because truth isn't worth being true if it's not free. And He wants to unite everything. Regulate it where needed. Let it go where needed. And make good on it at all points. Logical and otherwise. In other words, each moment is a point in time. There are a bazillion of us on the planet. We're all doing something, thinking something. How does God make good on that? Without waiving any of our freedoms. That's uniting perfections in Himself. And that's what this is all about. I hope this little audio helped.